all of these stories, like I can imagine in my brain it happened. I can imagine it clearly. Okay, we are back. I am so excited to start this series again. Took a fat break because I was honestly just enjoying summer and like living in the moment, working so much and moving into my new house and yeah, going home, seeing people, mainly working. I took two classes this summer, so yeah. Today's episode is going to be events in my life that I know happened, but I cannot prove that they happened whatsoever. I remember when I was younger, I could not tell you the age that I was in this memory. However, I remember I was younger, I was riding my bike and it definitely had training wheels on it. And so I had to have been, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 or 5, I don't know. I cannot remember. I think I did something, or I didn't want to ride my bike or something. I don't know. Something I did upset my mom. And the next thing I know, she did like the whistle with like her 2 fingers, and like this like random dumpster just like pulls up and she threw it in there. And then I never saw the bike again and I went inside crying. I don't know how it happened. I don't know if it happened. Like, I truly believe in my heart that it 100% happened, but like out of thin air, how does a dumpster just like stroll up when my mom whistles? Like, it does not sound real, but I know I visibly am like imagining it in my head right now. Next, when I was in kindergarten, we would have fifth graders be like our class buddies, and I think we would have, I don't know, 2 or 3, and they would help us line up, take us to classes, help us line up during recess, make sure we're all there, etc. Recess is starting. Everyone had to sit at this basketball court outside on the pavement to make sure everyone was there before we could go. And I think it was when we were switching, the fourth graders were training with the fifth graders. I don't remember exactly. And they're these 2 guys, and they were like, "No, I'm supposed to be here." And they're like, another one's like, "No, I'm supposed to be here." And it was like, then they started like squaring up with each other, and like, those movie type fight scenes where they're like this and they're like walking in a circle and everyone's chanting fight. Like, all the kindergartners are chanting fight, 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 including me. Like, I'm also imagining it right now, and they were just like circling each other, and then obviously teachers came over because they heard a ton of kids screaming fight, fight, fight. There was like a chunk of people who had to sit out of recess. I did not. I don't know how I did it because I'm pretty sure I was screaming fight the loudest. But no one can back up my story about that, and I don't know why they would fight, and so it like also just doesn't make sense. So okay, so the layout of my house is like, when you walk in the front door, the stairs are right there. There's living room, dining room, and then you walk a very short hallway to the kitchen in the family room. So I was in the kitchen and I would walk and look through the hallway and I would see this like skunk standing up and just like staring at me, and it terrified me, and I would just be frozen in fear, like that this skunk is like staring at me in my house and like at my front door. And all of these stories, like I can imagine in my brain it happened. I can imagine it clearly. I see it clearly. So let me preface that. But this skunk would just like stand, and it was like, I don't know, miniature, but it was standing on 2 legs and would just stare at me, and I would be frozen in place and I would not be able to move because I was terrified. And obviously this was when I was younger, so I don't remember if I ever like called my parents. I don't know. But I know it happened. Like, I know it happened. Cuz I still to this day will walk by that place and be like, double check. I don't know. It altered brain chemistry, I swear. Okay, the next one takes place in middle school. I think I was in 6th grade, and I think my sister got like peekaboo highlights or something, and I was like, I want a red stripe in my hair because I thought that was like unique and like I would stand out and whatever. And I remember I got like a streak of red, but it was in my part, so it would just like fan over. And I know I had this in my hair. Neither of my parents remember, and I remember being at the salon and then remember walking the halls like with this like red streak. It was like fire red streak, just like in my hair. And my hair is dark. Like you're obviously gonna see if there's bright red in my hair, but no one remembers it. Like I brought it up to my parents the other day because we were talking about the salon that we were at or that we had gone to for it, and they're like, I don't remember that, but I know it happened. I know it happened because I was at the salon. And even I remember this detail where they like checked the pigmentation of like the highlight, and my mom was like, yeah, you need to rinse it out, like that's too bright essentially, or like it's gonna get too bright. I remember this stuff, and it some of these things keep me up at night that I'm thinking, did it really happen, or am I like convincing myself that it happened? But I truly think that they did happen. Okay, the next one is I was laying in my driveway like playing with chalk, and all I remember is a lady walking by, and I thought she was walking a bear. It turned out to be a dog, but I genuinely believe in my whole heart. Like I looked up and I was like and I was shocked, and it was just a very 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 big dog, black, like genuinely looked like a bear. Same with I was at a dance recital, and I'm pretty sure a girl was doing like a needle or stretching, and I thought it was an ostrich, and I like had to do a double take. I don't know if that really counts for this, but it was what I could think about when I was brainstorming ideas for this podcast, and that is just what came in my mind. I don't know if other people have this where like you think you see something in your periphery, but you look and it's not actually that. It's actually a thing in your brain. The brain tries to fill in the gaps. Anyways, lastly, I know for a fact I predicted Morgan Wallen coming to the big house like shortly after Zach Bryan played. And I remember having a conversation, and I cannot remember who I had the conversation with, but I remember the conversation. I was like, oh, I heard, or I know it's going to be Morgan Wallen. I don't know where I got the information from because it wasn't even like announced yet that Morgan Wallen was playing. And I was like, I know it's gonna be Morgan Wallen. And someone told me, no, they wouldn't do another country singer. They would do something different. And then they were talking about like Taylor Swift. And I was like, no, that's too big. They wouldn't do Taylor Swift. And then they were talking about how they were Swifties. But I cannot remember who I was talking to, who I said it to, like where I was for that conversation. And this was genuinely last year. And I tried to ask people if they remember me saying that. And no one remembers, and I'm like, no, but I know I predicted it, and I just need someone to like validate that because I know I predicted it. Like I knew Morgan Wallen was coming before it was like released. I again don't know where I heard this information. Anyways, this is going to be a shorter podcast because I couldn't think of other events, but I know there are some, and I was just genuinely struggling trying to brainstorm these things besides these core memories that I could write down, because I truly believe it altered my brain chemistry in some way. But yeah, I'm so excited to be doing these again, and there's definitely more to come. Hopefully, we're going to get a guest for, if not the next podcast, the following podcast. I'm going to see how everything goes with school because school starts in like a week and a half. Eek. Scary. Junior year. Anyways, I will see you next Tuesday. Bye.